Okay, we're going to continue looking at the Huntington Hill method. I'm going to call it part 2. So recall that the new situation here was that we're going to be computing something called the geometric mean, right? And then we're going to basically use that, comparing the mean to the quota, to either decide whether we round up or round down. In our last video, we were done after step 4, but in this example, we're going to need to do a little bit of an adjustment. So let's see an example that would do that. I'm going to use technology to help me make the adjustments. It just makes it so much faster. So this is also an example we've looked at before, where we have a city bus system with 6 different routes labeled A through F, and we're trying to apportion the 130 buses according to the number of riders per day. We're going to use this Huntington Hill method. So I'm going to go over to my Excel spreadsheet that I made out, and by the way, I'm going to share this with you. Notice there's 2 tabs at the bottom. I'm currently on the bandana tab. If you want to redo the example I just did, you'll see that that can be helpful. But I'm going to click on the city bus tab. All right. So I'm going to, on this, with this, I'm going to show you the steps of how to type it in. So our first step is always to figure out the divisor. And the divisor is equal to the total population divided by, in this case, the number of buses. So I'm gonna use keyboard shortcuts. And remember, we have to hit the equal sign to initiate a formula. I'm going to click on the total ridership, and I'm going to divide by, I'm going to use the forward slash as divided by the number of buses to get my divisor of 1,000. Now I can go up to the quota and calculate those by taking each individual. So I'm going to hit, again, equals. I'm going to click on the cell to the left, that's that population, divided by my divisor. I'm going to click on the divisor box and hit enter. And that calculates it. Now you can do that individually for each one, but remember I had another shortcut I've showed you before. If you want the divisor to remain fixed, you can put a $sign before and after the B, and then you can click back on that cell, go to the bottom right corner, and just drag that formula down. Now our lower quota is just cutting off the decimals. And here again was our function we used, hit equals, type floor. Floor is to round down, parentheses, click on the box to the left, comma 1, all right? Significance of 1, and hit enter. That just rounds it to the nearest number there. Drag that down, all right? And to calculate the geometric mean, we're going to be putting in that formula that I talked about. So it's we're going to again initiate it by hitting equals, and we're going to take the square root of something. And so that's done by typing SQRT. Okay, that's the square root function. Don't forget to put a left parentheses. Then just click the number to the left, right? Square root of that. But you want to do it times, and then put another parentheses. Remember, it was n times n plus 1. So you can click on that box again, D2, plus 1 more. All right, close parentheses. This time you have to do 2 close parentheses because you had 1 at the start of the square root. And that calculates your geometric mean. I'm going to drag that down. All right, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. All right. So these are the geometric means. Now this is the point where we're going to use this comparison. Now there is a way to program this in, but I think it's probably easier to stay out of the weeds there and just do the comparison by ourselves. All right. So we're going to compare the quota portion versus the geometric mean. What I've done before time is I've set these boxes to have 3 decimal places, making it easier to compare. All right, so in the first line, our quota is 300, and our geometric mean is, I'm saying the decimal part is 300 thousandths, and this 497. So we're just looking at the decimal part. Notice the decimal is smaller, so we're going to round down to 45. On the next line, and you can pause and do this, and again, round down, and then we're going to round down because the quota is smaller, and round down. And then the E is also round down. And the last one is the only one that, notice the quota has a decimal part of 720 compared with the decimal part of 485. So the quota is actually larger in this case. So we're going to round up to 9. All right, so the last one, route F, is the only one we rounded up. So it shouldn't be maybe any surprise that when we do the apportionment that we only have 148 out of the, okay, I've done something wrong. I see what I did. I typed in the wrong number on the 3rd line. Let me go back and fix that. I was supposed to round down to 20. I was like, oh, okay, something's wrong. All right, so I fixed route C, if you noticed that earlier in the video. So now I have 129 buses, but remember I have 130. I got to give 1 more. So I have to adjust this divisor. I did it before the video starts, so I kind of have an idea that it doesn't need to be adjusted much, but you would be guessing. So the cool part about linking these cells is when you guess, it changes everything except for the last set of boxes there, right? Because we did those by hand. So you need another, you're short a bus, so you have to go down with your divisor. What if you went down to 990? You could click on the divisor box and just change it to 990 and hit enter or go off that. It changes all of the numbers. What you'll notice is the quota is now in line A, the quota is 0.758 is now larger than 0.497. So that one would round up to 46. The next line, route B, is still smaller. Route C is also larger. 0.697 is larger than 0.494, right? So you need to round that one up as well. That would go to 21. That D is smaller for the quota. E, the quota is smaller, and F is still larger. So now we're at 131. Oh, we went too far. So you have to readjust this divisor. I think the one number that ends up working is 998. I believe that works, but let me make sure and check. Yeah, so that makes line A, the quota now is 0.391, is smaller than 0.497, so it's smaller, so it rounds down to 45. The next one would round down. Line C would still round up, and down, down, up, and now we're perfectly at the 130 buses that we wanted. So you can adjust this divisor a lot quicker with technology once you've linked all of those cells. I hope that you find this helpful and have a lot of fun with the Huntington method.